This video, we're going to set your attention to apparent error in the April 2022 Visa Bulletin, and I'm also going to go over the status of US visa services country by country between different embassies like we do every other month. So make sure you stay tuned and watch this video until the end. Maybe I'll mention your embassy as well. Hello everybody, and welcome back to our immigration channel. This is a place where we get the most up-to-date immigration news, immigration information, and everything else that you need to make your immigration journey less stressful. My name is Jacob Sapochnick, and I'm an immigration attorney located in San Diego, California. And in this video, I'm going to set your attention to an apparent error in the April 2022 Visa Bulletin, as well as go over embassy status, reopening, which ones are open, which ones are closed, which visa processing are taking place, different embassies, country by country. So make sure you watch this video all the way through the end. I'm going to try to cover as many countries as I can. Before that, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our immigration channel, click the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to share this video with more people just like you. So it's very rare to see an error in the Visa Bulletin, but there was one in the April 2022 release, and this specifically in the EB4 category, certain religious workers, final action dates, Part E, where it lists in that category as unavailable. They're also referencing that the religious worker program expired March 11th, 2022. However, on March 15, 2022, this program was extended all the way through September 30th, 2022. This was part of the Omnibus Appropriations Bill. So this category, EB4 of religious workers, is now available for all countries except from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras, as well as Mexico. These countries are subject to specific final action dates. In addition to that, it's important to note that the April 2022 Visa Bulletin should be amended to reflect the changes in the EB5 category as well. The EB5 Regional Center has been reauthorized, and MVC as well as embassies should immediately process cases that are being on hold, that have been on hold for the past several months, because it is available right now in the regional center category as well. So just something to keep in mind. Now, let's jump into our country by country processing, analyzing different embassies and consulates, which ones are open, which ones are not, and where we see delays that are important to you, updated as of March 2022. So let's start with the US Embassy in Manila, Philippines. In this embassy, routine visa services remain limited. They're processing very limited non-immigrant visas as well, and the wait times for those visa services is very, very long, very unusual compared to other embassies we're going to talk about. In fact, for most non-immigrant visas, only applicants with urgent reasons to travel are being prioritized. Everybody else is on hold. Immediate relatives, CR1s, IR1s are being processed, as well as K1 fiancé visas, yet it's still very limited. Also, MVC is reporting that the Manila Embassy is not opening enough slots for them to send cases on a monthly basis as expected. Therefore, you see those delays in this particular post. US embassies in Mexico, specifically Ciudad Juarez, this embassy is open for routine visa services, yet the backlog of immediate family members is really severe. IR1s, CR1 cases are being processed, as well as K1 visas. The rest of the embassies in Mexico are also working in limited capacity, and it's important for you to check with the individual embassies' websites to see if anything has changed. But so far, the backlogs are really, really bad in Mexico, specifically Ciudad Juarez, where we have most of our immigrant visa cases, as well as fiancé visa cases, as well as many applicants who are waiting for their waivers to be processed before they can attend the interviews. So make sure you check with the embassy and with the MVC to understand the status of your case. So let's move to the United Kingdom. The US Embassy in London and the consulate in Belfast are working on a limited visa capacity. Non-immigrant visas are only processed for emergency. Non-immigrant visa services are the only one being processed. At the same time, immigrant visa applications are not being processed as routine visa services. Immigrant visa appointments are available, but they're limited, specifically for CR1 and R1 cases, as well as K1 visas. Again, this is a very busy post, but so far they have not resumed routine visa services, which makes the backlog in this particular post very, very bad. Therefore, MVC is not able to release cases to be sent to London at the moment. Let's move to the Dominican Republic. The US Embassy in Santo Domingo is offering limited routine visa services at the moment, mostly focused on CR1, IR1 family petitions, as well as fiancé visas. Fiancé visas are severely delayed at this particular post. With respect to non-immigrant visas, routine work and student visas have resumed slowly as well. With respect to tourist visa services, those remain suspended at the moment. Let's move to the US Embassy in Thailand, Bangkok. This embassy resumed routine visa services. They process non-immigrant and immigrant visas, CR1s, IR1s, on the non-immigrant side, H1s and F1 visas. This is a very efficient embassy, and quite a few countries in their region are using it as a third country national option. Make sure you check with the embassy in Bangkok if they are willing to see your case, if they have the capacity to do so. It's a really good recommended post to try to move your case to if you're stuck at your current embassy. Let's move to Brazil. US embassies and consulates in Brazil have resumed routine visa services. They have routine visa services for non-immigrant visas as well. With respect to immigrant visas, while they are processing cases at the moment, the wait times are really long just because of the backlogs from the past year or so and the lack of enough consular officers to process those cases at the US embassies in Brazil. So just keep in mind that you're going to have to wait quite long if you have immigrant visas pending at this particular post. Let's move to Nigeria. The US Embassy in Abuja is offering limited non-immigrant and immigrant visa services, including K1 visas. The wait times are really long over there, and you have to be patient, and also make sure you follow up directly with this embassy or with the MVC if your case is still stuck at the MVC. But again, this is one of those posts where limited staffing and country conditions are preventing them to resume normal visa services. Let's move to India. The US Embassy in Mumbai has reopened all immigrant visa services at the moment. With respect to non-immigrant visas, routine visa appointments remain limited. It's very difficult, mostly F1s and H1B appointments. With respect to CR1s, IR1s, and other family petitions, they are doing it, but it's still quite slow. Once again, staffing issues, country conditions, just a very, very busy post in Mumbai, but they are doing a lot of good efforts. And we've seen a lot of movement from January to today with respect to more interviews being sent from MVC to this particular post. And we expect that by the end of June, we're going to see even more improvement from the US Embassy in Mumbai. To China, the US Embassy in Guangzhou has resumed routine visa services for immigrant and non-immigrant visas. The same goes for Beijing and Shanghai. Remember that, again, this is a very busy post, and immigrant visas, including K1 visas, is still being processed quite slow. So if you have cases pending in those consulates and embassies, make sure you follow up with them as well as with the MVC to make sure that the transition of cases is going according to plan. Let's move to the Ukraine. The US Embassy in Kiev has suspended completely operations because of the Russian invasions. All consular processing that are responsible for Kiev are now being processed at the US Embassy in Frankfurt. And so Frankfurt is the primary processing location for Ukrainians that are interested to immigrate to the United States. Those of you applying for IR3 or IR4 visas or adoption cases should process those cases at the US Embassy in Warsaw, Poland. With respect to US Embassy in Moscow, Russia, we're moving now to Russia. This embassy is suspended completely. There's no visa operations over there. And applicants should contact the MVC to let them know which embassies they're going to be using as an option outside of Russia. It could be Poland, Warsaw, or the US Embassy in Kazakhstan. Let's move to US Embassy in Vietnam. The US Embassy in Hanoi has resumed limited visa services. Non-immigrant and immigrant emergency appointments are still available in this particular post. And immigrant visa interviews, IR1, CR1s, have slowly started to resume, as well as K1 visas. While they're still slow, it's definitely a better improvement than 3 months ago. Let's move to Canada. The US Embassy in Toronto and Vancouver have resumed most immigrant visa interviews as well as non-immigrant visa interviews. While it's still very slow because these embassies have been battling also short staffing issues and other delays, we definitely see much improvement in Canada, specifically K1 visas, IR1, CR1s, as well as non-immigrant visas, including E2 visa applications that are currently being processed in Toronto. The US Embassy in Islamabad has resumed routine visa services. While it's still very slow, we can see processing IR1, CR1 cases as well as K1 visas. We get more cases being sent from MVC to this particular post. They've definitely increased the number of officers working at this particular post to help tackle the current backlog. So US Embassy in Islamabad is slowly resuming routine visa services. Once again, this is our report for today. Once we have more embassies to report, we're going to do another video and include those embassies that we didn't mention in this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.